Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about all things 2022. But shout out to my Christmas tree in the back. Baby does not come down until the beginning of the new year, so don't judge me. And my little one of her playpens that we put together. But welcome. We're going to be talking about my sinking funds, my cashless envelopes, and then my goals for 2022 for both my personal budget and my household budget. If you are new, my name is Janelle and I do all things budgeting. I also include lifestyle videos, so if that is something that you guys are interested in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I have my notes over here, so if you're looking, or if it looks like I'm looking down, it's because I am. So let's just jump right on into it. So first we're going to be talking about household, because household is has a lot less going on with it than my personal budget does. So for household, I do a cash system because a lot of the things that we put in an envelope, it needs to be cash. Our cleaners, our lawn care, our weather, our pets don't have to be cash, but we just do them cash. So most things that we do for our household has to be done in cash because we do have a credit union that's only located in Texas. And right now they don't offer the same things as bigger banks such as like Zelle or Venmo or anything like that. So we also don't have really that option. So a lot of the times if we can Venmo or Zelle, my husband will just send the money and then I'll give him the cash back. So there are just a little bit of tweaks and different things that we're going to be doing. But let me see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this coming year for 2022, we're going to have 6 envelopes. I would just say sinking funds, savings envelopes, but money will be going into those to be able to take care of stuff. So the first one is going to be cleaning. And we had that this year as well. And that is just for our house to get cleaned currently once a month. And then I maintain it for the other 3 weeks. We may at some point maybe go to every 2 weeks, we'll see, but I'm not trying to break the bank. And the people who clean my house now currently, it would actually cost more to do it every 2 weeks than it would just for them to do it once a month. Although I feel like I could get them to come down in price if I really wanted to. But once a month right now works for us. And I'm actually needing to set up an appointment for them to do a deep clean in my house before baby girl gets here. So we have that. And my goal right now is to kind of get a month ahead so that whenever I'm taking money out of that, I'm putting money back in there. So there's always money in there and I'm not like, oh shoot, we're short. But that is going to be our first category. Our next one is lawn care. Now our lawn care is very cheap. Right now our lawn care guy is only coming like once every month and a half. It's the winter time. We don't need to use sprinklers or worry about anything during the summertime. He does come every 2 weeks. And then we usually are doing some kind of fertilizer treatment for our plants up front, doing mulch and different things like that. So it kind of gets a little bit, just a tiny bit, I'm not even gonna say expensive, it costs a little bit more sometimes. So I do wanna save up some money so once we go into 2022, April, May comes around, we're kind of already ready to dig deep into that. Next is gonna be pets. This is probably the first time that I've had a pets category for a good little minute. I saved money, was able to use some money in there and then still have money. So that is the goal next year, is to continue to build in that category. because, and I've said this maybe like 5 years ago, we were supposed to replace their cages, get them new toys. Well, not really toys, but like new furniture and stuff. And I mean, we have to like a certain degree, but they've outgrown those too. So that is definitely something that I want to focus on for our little babies, which are our two bearded dragons, if you don't know, for the year 2022. Next is going to be weather. As I stated earlier, we live in the state of Texas, which is a catastrophe state. So that means that anything can happen here. Hurricanes, tornadoes, freezes, snow, as we learned at the beginning of this year when we had a freeze here. Anything can happen. And so with that being said, a lot of the times it catches you off guard. And here, the minute we hear bad weather, everybody goes into a huge panic. And sometimes, especially with my job, I don't just get to leave and go and do what I want to do. So I already want to start planning from early. So I have a category called weather where I actually put cash into this. And this is definitely something I want to keep cash in, because if you have like a hurricane and the lights are out, you can't buy water, or if you're going to get groceries or do anything with a credit card or a card, because they may not have access to those things. So it'd be nice to have cash. I know during the storm, our neighbors were going and buying everybody stuff because not everybody could drive on the ice. So it was really nice to be like, hey, I need some bread and water. Here's $10 and you're good to go. So we have that. And then that also covers for extra stuff. So we'll kind of know a couple of days in advance if a really bad storm is coming. I can use that money to fill up on gas, buy extra grocery stuff that is not incorporated in our regular grocery budget. Get batteries, candles, just whatever you need for whatever specific weather we're having at that time. And so I would consider y'all, if y'all live in a state like Texas or Florida, which I lived in both of them, they're both catastrophe states and things can turn quick and in a hurry. And it's always nice to be just a little bit prepared. So I really do love this envelope. I did not really have to use it this year because I actually started this envelope after the freeze. It's what gave me the idea. And especially now that we're bringing a child into fold, this will also gain some traction in us getting a generator at some point to just make sure that we're all good with that, and just different things that we may need to prepare our home for as well. So we have weather. The next one is going to be sort of a new one because I have this category in my personal category, but this is a different category because I changed the other category. But this is going to be household, and this household is strictly for the household in sense of any actual repairs or anything that we're going to be wanting to do. So we still need to get our kitchen painted or repainted from an accident we had earlier on in the year. This envelope would have covered for that. We have like once a year we do duct cleaning, getting our, what is that called? Our tankless water heater cleaned once a year. Just any like small projects or anything that we need to finish in our house that we have not finished. Saving up to get a new fridge. All of those different things will be in that household category. So we'll save up in that. And then even if we don't have all the money, at least we have something to be able to cover. And so that is just like our mini project envelope, and all those stuff that I named we're trying to do in 2022. So good luck, because I have not put together a savings challenge for my household account. So we'll see. Things will probably be changing in 2022 in terms of job and income. So we'll see how that comes out as well too. But that's that. And then lastly, we have our HOA. So when we moved into our house last year, we already paid for it, so we didn't have to worry about it. We did get a new HOA company, and as of like maybe a day or two, they have finalized what our HOA payment will be for 2022. So I'm going to be saving that payment as well for 2023. So instead of having to pull that entire $900 out like I will be in January, I'm going to be slowly saving for it so that that money is already there, and then I don't have to worry about taking a huge lump sum out of our checking account again. So those are going to be our 6 categories for our household sinking funds / savings, and that is what we're going to use for the household. I will be sort of throughout the second half of the year starting to shift a lot of things into household, and paying and doing more things out of there. But you guys will get to experience and see that if you stay along for the ride. Now we're gonna get down to my personal budget. So this is just all things that I do for myself, my income, my savings, and all that kind of stuff. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 technically, because I have 2 savings. But to start off is I went back to having a holidays account. Now that we're having a child, we're going to be in different, or we're going to be celebrating maybe sort of kind of different holidays going forward. And not just because like we're particularly celebrating it, but in daycare or she's going with friends or family to do different things, we just want to be able to afford for her to do it. So that is why I went back to making it its own category. Holiday is also going to be holding all of our holidays that we celebrate here in our house, which is really only Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then any gifts or birthdays. I think that I'm going to include anniversaries in there. Now that I am married, we have an anniversary. All of that stuff will be bulked into holidays, and then that can just kind of cover everything. The next is fun. And fun has always just been like our vacations, any dates, any events that we're going to. That won't really change much. At least, especially for this year, it's not much that she'll be able to do in 2022. She'll barely be 1, but we'll be able to save more going forward for different activities for her and for us as well too. Next is going to be health, and that is just to cover, just for me and her, because my husband doesn't really go to the doctor very much. And if he does, he always just swipes his card. Not that I wouldn't pay for his copay. But we have our health, and that covers any doctor's appointments, prescriptions, our vitamins that we take for our house, and different like supplements and stuff. Once I go back to low carb, after the baby is born, we do buy some things like at GNC and stuff like that. So our health category does cover for those things. Next is going to be household. So we talked about household in the household, but this household is more so mainly for household stuff like inside the house. So covering buying clothes, I buy myself clothes, my husband clothes, and then baby girl will be getting clothes. Any like different decorations, because we still have to put together our house so much, y'all. Now that we have maternity photos and stuff like that, I'll be putting them up on the walls and just finish decorating and doing all of that kind of stuff. So this is more so of like a play envelope, more than it is like, oh, if we want to go buy new faucets or something like that, it is coming out of that account. So that is what this household is. And this household will also help cover, is what I'm hoping to do next year, is doing one huge bulk buy at the beginning of the month, which is already going to be incorporated in my cashless envelopes, but just to aid in that, if I'm unable to cover it, to be able to cover those bulk orders. Next is going to be my savings 2, because my savings 1 is just general savings for me. If I have an emergency or I need to do something, I have savings. It's different from our emergency fund, which I'm not talking about in either of these because I'm not exactly sure why. But I do have an emergency fund in our household account. And we'll kind of talk about that more when I go over our annual budget for 2022. For saving 2, I really love the fact that I was able to save up money to be a month ahead going into my maternity leave. So that is kind of going to be my plan for next year. And maybe not so much a month ahead, but maybe like a full month's worth of a paycheck for a month. Did I say that? Yeah. To be in that account so that if I ever have an emergency, like I miss work and I'm not going to be able to get paid for it or anything like that, I kind of have that backup money there, because that's what happened. You'll see a recap in December where like my first paycheck was like a little bit low because I had the time, y'all, and I didn't realize it. But if I didn't have the time, I had lost some money because I was unable to go to work because I was sick and stuff like that. So that account would have came into play with, okay, this is what I would have normally needed to have. So let me supplement. If I only had $900, but I needed $1,000, then I could supplement $100 and still take care of all of my bills and things of that sort. But I will be hopefully a month ahead in things as well too. So that shouldn't interfere too much, but that is one of my goals. And then it'll also be able to cover my subscriptions throughout the year because I think I know all my subscriptions and then I don't. And so that is going to be just like a catch-all for those small things. And then the last thing that I have for my personal sinking funds is going to be transportation. I do have a newer vehicle, so I'm not spending much money on any repairs or anything like that, even though my husband would be mostly taking care of that if that was the case, but I still am saving money just for like my oil changes and different stuff, because I do have a warranty with my company for them to cover stuff for I think like 75,000 miles. So we have some time to get there. And then also for my car insurance, because I pay my car insurance every 6 months. So I want to be able to save up in those categories so that whenever those 6 months, that 6-month subscription comes up for it to be paid, I already have that money set aside. So those are my sinking funds going into 2022, and they are cashless. Now onto my cashless envelopes. I want to say I started this, I'm thinking October of this year. It sounds a little late. September or October, I started to use my Capital One Quicksilver, and that is the card that I use to cover all of my bills for my cashless cash envelope. So groceries, gas. I still have a household again, so I'm confused as to why I have so much households, y'all. But this household is really to cover like all of the stuff that we need for the house in terms of like laundry, detergent, and all of that good stuff, personal and miscellaneous. And so I can keep all those transactions in one. Every time I make a transaction, I'm actually also reinvesting that rollover money into my Acorns account. But I just set aside how much money I want to be able to spend for the month. And then I do take a portion of whatever my income is to make sure that I'm paying off the statement balance. That did not happen this past month, Once again, I will talk about that in my December closeout. But right now for groceries, I am budgeting $400. And I'm thinking that that will still be able to work, but we will definitely see how things change once I get back to low carb, whether I'll be buying less or more, especially with inflation and things costing more. I used to be able to buy salad for like $2.90, almost $3, and now like a salad is almost $5. So we'll see how that plays out. And then we have gas. My car is a lot better on gas. So I don't really use more than about $46 to fill up. So I'm budgeting anywhere between $180 to $200. The first 3 months, I won't have to use too much gas because I ain't driving anywhere. And then household will be $75. And like I said, that's going to be covering like laundry detergent, soap, toothpaste, personal items, all of that good stuff. Personal covers will be $200 right now. I'll be able to save some money in that for a while because I will not be going anywhere. Worried about my hair. May take care of my nails, but hair, nails, toes, eyebrows, whatever it is that you consider personal. And then lastly, I have $75 for miscellaneous. I don't know how that's gonna work because I've been over budget, but I think once I get back to eating low carb, I will not be buying food on the road, and that's my biggest thing, y'all, is food. So those are my 5 cashless envelopes, and that is literally what we are going to be taking into 2022. We are going to make it happen. I really want to be able to save, and leading into saving is going to be my 2022 goals. I will talk about my 2022 savings in a different video, so stay tuned for that. If y'all see me in the same outfit, it is because I'm going to be record batching and getting these out before I don't have any more energy left. So for my personal budget, since we were kind of already on personal, I want to be able to complete 2 savings challenges. I technically have 3, so as long as I complete 2 out of those 3 for the year, I will feel accomplished. I want to pay off at least 1 debt, and that is going to be debt that I already have and not new debt that I may have added. Once again, that will be in my December closeout. I also don't want to add any more debt. And you'll see that is why I'm going to be really pushing myself to do these savings challenges, because it will get me out of some of those situations. And it's not necessarily that it's debt, but because I was putting money slowly into my sinking funds, I would always end up needing to do something, and then, what happened? Needing to do something, and then there's not enough money in there to cover it, and then end up having to use my credit card. So, and then lastly, I want to be able to build my savings. So we'll talk about building my savings in my 2022 savings update. For household, there's not a lot going on. I really just want to get to 2 months worth of money or bill money in my checking account. We're kind of at like 1 month almost. Well, we're at 1 month, but I would like to get to 2, and then potentially we'll will be ahead at 3 months, and then I'll be definitely comfortable. And then for my emergency fund, we are wanting to get to 1 month worth of bills. And this is where I was talking about in the second half of the year, we are going to be incorporating some of the bills that like I pay for, some of the things that I do over to household, because I cover like groceries and stuff like that. I want to be able to have that in our emergency fund, that if something was to happen, that emergency fund can also cover those bills as well too, like if something had happened to me. So I'm going to figure out that number, but I know for next year, we're just trying to get to maybe about $2,000 in the account. I know it's not a lot, but we are working on it, y'all, so just bear with me. And then I just have a couple of financial goals. So once I have the baby, it's not a huge push. It's going to be for the whole year, but I just want to get back down to my pre-pregnancy weight, which I don't think is going to be too hard, but it's still a goal. I want to build a routine. It's going to be very new for us. We're going to be new parents. And I know that routine is good. So building a routine at home and at work. I want to make sure that at least one day out of the month, me and hubby gets to spend some time together. I think that's going to be very important now that it's not just going to be us anymore. I want to get back to exercising and eating healthy. It's going to be very important for me to be level-headed. And self-care, taking care of myself. I can't take care of anybody else if I'm not okay. And just making sure that I stay positive. I know postpartum depression is real. And so I just want to be able to take care of myself. It's why I feel really good today. I got to go and pamper myself, and I feel so much better, even though I know that I'm tired. And so I think that is very important. So those are going to be all of my 2022 goals for our sinking funds and my cashless envelopes, and then just financial and non-financial goals for 2022. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.